IELTS Listening. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a man talking to a woman about retail associate opportunities at a department store. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello. Thank you for coming in today to discuss the retail associate positions we have available.
Thank you for having me. I'm eager to learn more about the opportunities here and how I can contribute to your team's success.
That's great to hear. We're looking for enthusiastic and customer-oriented individuals to join our team across several departments, including clothing, electronics, and home goods. Each department offers a unique environment and challenges that can help you develop valuable skills.
That sounds interesting. Can you tell me more about what a typical day might look like in the clothing department, for example?
Of course. As a retail associate in the clothing department, your main responsibilities would include assisting customers with finding items, managing the fitting rooms, keeping the sales floor organized, and restocking merchandise. You'll also need to keep up with the latest fashion trends to help customers make informed choices.
I have some experience in customer service and I'm passionate about fashion. Would that be helpful in this role?
Absolutely. We value any customer service experience. Additionally, we provide comprehensive training for all new hires to ensure you're comfortable in your role. Our training program covers everything from product knowledge to customer service skills and store policies. It typically lasts for 1 week and includes both classroom sessions and on-the-job training.
That's good to hear. What kind of training do you provide?
Our training program is quite comprehensive. You'll start with an orientation that covers the store's history, values, and mission. Then you'll move on to more specific training related to your department. For instance, in the clothing department, you'll learn about different brands, sizes, and how to manage inventory.
That sounds thorough. Are there any specific requirements for the job?
Yes, you should be comfortable standing for long periods, able to lift up to 20 pounds, and have good communication skills. Retail experience is a plus but not mandatory. We also look for individuals who are reliable, have a positive attitude, and can work well in a team environment.
I can handle that. What are the working hours like?
We offer flexible schedules to accommodate different needs, but we do require availability on weekends and holidays, as these are our busiest times. Some shifts may start early in the morning while others could go late into the evening, so flexibility is key.
I understand. How about the electronics department?
In the electronics department, you would be responsible for helping customers with technical questions, demonstrating products, and handling sales transactions. It's important to have a basic understanding of technology for this role. You'd also need to keep up with the latest technology trends and product releases to provide accurate information to customers.
I'm quite tech-savvy, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Excellent. This department also requires strong communication skills and the ability to learn about new products quickly. You'll be trained on how to troubleshoot common issues and provide excellent customer service.
What about the home goods department?
The home goods department involves helping customers choose items for their homes such as kitchenware, bedding, and furniture. You'll need to have a good eye for design and be able to offer suggestions based on customer needs. Responsibilities also include setting up displays and ensuring that the department is always presentable.
That sounds interesting too. What kind of support do employees receive?
We believe in supporting our employees fully. In addition to the initial training, we provide ongoing training sessions and have a mentorship program where new hires can get advice and support from experienced staff members. We also have regular team meetings to address any concerns and share updates.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
The training program sounds very comprehensive. What are the next steps if I want to apply for a position?
First, you'll need to complete an online application form, which includes some basic personal information and a few questions about your experience and availability. Once we receive your application, our HR team will review it, and if you meet the initial requirements, we'll contact you to schedule an interview.
I can do that. Is there an interview process as well?
Yes, after reviewing your application, we will invite you for an interview. The interview is typically conducted by the department manager and lasts about 30 minutes. It includes both behavioral questions and some role-specific questions. For instance, you might be asked how you would handle a difficult customer or manage a busy sales floor during peak hours.
What kind of questions should I expect in the interview?
We'll ask about your previous work experience, how you handle customer interactions, and scenarios related to teamwork and problem solving. We want to see how you think on your feet and how well you can apply your skills to real-life situations. For the electronics department, we might also include a few technical questions to gauge your familiarity with the products.
I feel confident I can handle that. What's the pay rate for these positions?
The starting pay rate for retail associates is $12 per hour. There are opportunities for raises based on performance and tenure with the company. Additionally, we offer incentive programs where you can earn bonuses for meeting sales targets or receiving positive customer feedback.
Are there any additional benefits?
Yes, we offer a range of benefits including employee discounts, health insurance for full-time employees, and opportunities for advancement within the company. We also have a retirement savings plan and paid time off for both full-time and part-time employees. Plus, we host regular staff appreciation events to recognize and reward hard work.
That sounds appealing. How soon can I start if I get hired?
Once you've completed the interview and background check, you can start as soon as the following week, depending on your availability and our scheduling needs. We try to get new hires integrated into the team as quickly as possible.
Great. I'll go ahead and fill out the online application then.
Perfect. If you have any questions during the process, feel free to contact our HR department. They can assist you with any issues or provide additional information about the positions.
Thank you so much for your help. I'm looking forward to applying and hopefully joining your team soon.
You're welcome. We look forward to reviewing your application. Good luck.
Section 2. You will hear a talk to members of the public about plans for a new community centre in a town called Riverton. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to this meeting about the new community centre planned for Riverton. My name is Sarah Williams, and I'm the project manager for this development. I'm here to give you an overview of our plans and to address any concerns you might have. So, let's start with why we've chosen Riverton for this new community centre. Riverton is a growing town with a vibrant community spirit, but there has been a noticeable lack of facilities for community events and activities. At present, people have to travel to neighbouring towns to attend sports, arts, and social events. By building this centre, we hope to provide a convenient and modern space for all these activities right here in Riverton. One of the main reasons we chose the specific location for the centre is its accessibility. The site is centrally located, making it easy for residents from all parts of Riverton to reach. It's also close to the main public transportation routes, so those who rely on buses can get here easily. Moreover, it's within walking distance of Riverton High School, which will encourage students to participate in after-school programs and use the sports facilities. The community centre will feature a wide range of facilities. There will be a large multipurpose hall that can be used for sports, concerts, and community meetings. We're also planning to include a gym, a swimming pool, and several rooms that can be booked for various activities like yoga classes, art workshops, and club meetings. In addition, there will be a cafe where people can relax and socialize. We've put a lot of thought into the design of the building. It's important to us that it blends in well with the surrounding architecture and natural environment. The centre will be built using sustainable materials and will incorporate energy-efficient technologies. We're also planning to create a green space around the building, with trees, benches, and a playground for children. We've received a lot of positive feedback from the community so far. People are particularly excited about the sports facilities and the opportunities for hosting large events. Some residents have expressed concerns about potential noise and traffic increases, but we're working on measures to mitigate these issues. For example, we're planning to include ample parking to avoid congestion on the surrounding streets, and the building will have soundproofing to minimize noise pollution.
Section 2. Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 16 to 20.
Now, let's move on to the detailed layout of the centre. If you look at the map on the screen, you'll see that the main entrance is on the south side of the building. As you enter, you'll find the reception area directly in front of you. To the left of the reception is the cafe, which will have indoor and outdoor seating. The multipurpose hall is on the right side of the reception and occupies a significant portion of the ground floor. Behind the hall, you'll find the gym and the swimming pool. The pool area will have large windows facing the green space outside, providing a pleasant view while you swim. Upstairs, there are several smaller rooms available for community use. These rooms can be booked for classes, meetings, or private events. There's also a balcony that overlooks the green space, which we think will be a popular spot for relaxation. In the outdoor area, we've planned several features to enhance community interaction. There will be a playground for children, located near the north end of the centre. Adjacent to the playground, we are installing benches where parents can sit and watch their children play. Additionally, there will be a community garden where residents can grow flowers and vegetables together. We're also planning a walking path that circles the green space, providing a safe and scenic route for exercise. We're very excited about this project and believe it will bring significant benefits to Riverton. We hope that the community centre will become a hub of activity and a place where residents of all ages can come together to enjoy a variety of events and activities. Thank you for your attention. Now, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Section 3. You will hear two biology students, Emily and Jake, talking about the reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone National Park. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
So, Jake, we should start working on our project about the reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone.
Absolutely. It's such a fascinating topic. I was surprised to learn how much impact wolves can have on an ecosystem.
I know. The changes to the park since their reintroduction in 1995 have been incredible. It's like watching a real-life science experiment.
What I found particularly interesting was the concept of a trophic cascade. I'd never heard of that before.
Right. That's when predators regulate the populations of prey species, which in turn affects the vegetation and the entire ecosystem. It's amazing how wolves can have such a widespread effect. For instance, the overpopulation of elk was leading to overgrazing, which severely impacted the vegetation.
Exactly. And the wolves didn't just affect the prey animals like elk and deer. Their presence changed the behavior of these animals, which led to the regeneration of certain plants and trees. The elk started avoiding certain areas where they could be easily hunted by wolves, giving those areas a chance to recover.
Yeah, and that regeneration brought back other species too. Beavers, for instance, returned to areas they hadn't been in for decades. Their dams created new habitats for fish and birds. It's fascinating to see how one change can ripple through the ecosystem.
The whole thing is like a domino effect. I read that the number of songbirds increased because the trees grew back. It's all connected. And it's not just the large animals. Even the smaller creatures like insects and amphibians benefited from the changes.
Yes, and another fascinating aspect is how the reintroduction of wolves impacted the river systems. With fewer elk grazing on the riverbanks, the vegetation stabilized the banks and reduced erosion. This led to clearer waters and better habitats for aquatic life.
It's incredible. The presence of wolves changed the physical geography of the park. And what's really interesting is that this whole process is still evolving. Scientists are continuing to study the long-term effects and are finding new benefits all the time.
There was a lot of controversy at the start, though. Many ranchers and local communities were against it. They were worried about wolves attacking livestock, which was a legitimate concern given their livelihoods depend on it.
That's true. There were definitely conflicts. But it seems like the park has found ways to manage those issues, like using compensation programs for ranchers who lose livestock to wolves. There have also been efforts to educate the public about the benefits of having wolves in the ecosystem.
Yes, and the ecological benefits seem to outweigh the negatives. The overall health of the park's ecosystem has improved dramatically. It's a great example of how rewilding can work.
One thing we should definitely include in our presentation is the role of keystone species. Wolves are a perfect example of that concept. Their presence or absence can have a disproportionate effect on the environment.
Definitely. It's a key point. And we should also touch on how the reintroduction was carried out. The logistics of capturing and transporting wolves from Canada to Yellowstone were quite complex. It involved a lot of coordination between various agencies and governments.
Agreed. It was a huge undertaking, but ultimately very successful. We should also mention the ongoing monitoring and research. The data collected over the years has been crucial in understanding the full impact of the wolves and in managing the population effectively.
Absolutely. There's so much to cover. I think this will make for a really compelling presentation. And we should highlight some specific case studies to illustrate our points, like the changes in vegetation and the return of species like beavers and songbirds.
Good idea. Let's also include some visual aids, like before and after photos of the park and graphs showing the changes in animal populations. That will really help to make our points clear.
Yes, and we should practice explaining the science behind the trophic cascade clearly, so our audience can understand why these changes are happening. It's such a key part of our presentation.
Agreed. Let's get started on the slides and work on our script.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
We should outline some of the key benefits and challenges of the wolf reintroduction.
Good idea. Let's start with the benefits. We've already mentioned the trophic cascade and improved biodiversity. Another benefit is the increase in tourism. People come to Yellowstone hoping to see wolves in the wild, which has boosted the local economy.
Yes, that's a great point. The wolves have definitely become an attraction. And what about the challenges? We've touched on livestock predation. Are there other significant issues?
Human-wolf conflicts in general are a big challenge. There's always the risk of wolves coming too close to populated areas, which can lead to dangerous encounters. Also, managing the genetic diversity of the wolf population is crucial to prevent inbreeding and ensure a healthy population.
That's right. And there's the issue of balancing the ecosystem. Too many wolves could lead to overpredation, so it's a delicate balance. The park has to constantly monitor and adapt their management strategies. It's a dynamic process.
Exactly. Another challenge is the legal and political aspects. The status of wolves can change based on state and federal regulations, which can affect conservation efforts. It's important to stay informed about these changes.
Well, I think we've got a solid foundation for our presentation. There's a lot of ground to cover, but I think it's really engaging material. We can end with some thoughts on the future of wolf conservation and what other regions can learn from Yellowstone's experience.
I agree. Let's get started on the slides and script, and make sure we cover all these points thoroughly.
Section 4. You will hear a university lecture about the conservation of coral reefs. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 35. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 35.
Today, we are discussing one of the most vital and diverse ecosystems on our planet, coral reefs. Often referred to as the rainforests of the sea, coral reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor but support about 25% of all marine species. These underwater structures are formed by colonies of tiny living animals called coral polyps, which secrete calcium carbonate to build the reefs over thousands of years. Coral reefs are not only important for marine life but also for human populations. They provide food, coastal protection, and support tourism and fishing industries. However, these magnificent ecosystems are under severe threat from a variety of human activities and environmental changes. One of the most significant threats to coral reefs is climate change. Rising sea temperatures cause coral bleaching, a phenomenon where corals expel the algae living in their tissues, losing their color and vital energy source. Without these algae, corals can starve and eventually die. Additionally, ocean acidification, caused by increased CO2 absorption, weakens coral skeletons, making them more susceptible to erosion and breakage. Another major issue is overfishing, which disrupts the balance of reef ecosystems. Many fish species that help keep the reef healthy are being removed at unsustainable rates. For instance, herbivorous fish that control algae growth are vital for coral health. Without them, algae can overgrow and suffocate corals. Pollution also plays a significant role in reef degradation. Runoff from agriculture, sewage, and plastic waste introduce harmful substances into the marine environment. Nutrient-rich runoff can cause algal blooms that block sunlight and deplete oxygen levels, further stressing coral reefs. Coastal development is yet another threat. Construction and land reclamation can lead to increased sedimentation, which smothers corals and blocks the light they need for photosynthesis. The destruction of mangroves and seagrasses, which serve as natural buffers, exacerbates the problem by reducing the coastline's ability to filter pollutants and sediments.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 36 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 36 to 40.
To combat these threats, a multifaceted approach to coral reef conservation is necessary. Marine protected areas are one of the most effective tools. These areas restrict human activities like fishing and tourism, allowing ecosystems to recover and thrive. Well-managed marine protected areas can help maintain biodiversity and replenish fish stocks, benefiting both nature and local communities. Restoration projects are also gaining traction. Scientists and conservationists are developing methods to grow corals in nurseries and transplant them to degraded reefs. These efforts can accelerate the recovery of damaged areas and increase the resilience of coral populations. Another crucial strategy is reducing local stressors. Improving wastewater treatment and reducing agricultural runoff can significantly decrease the amount of pollutants entering the ocean. Sustainable fishing practices, such as setting catch limits and protecting key species, are also essential. Public awareness and education play a vital role in conservation. By informing communities and tourists about the importance of coral reefs and how their actions impact these ecosystems, we can foster more responsible behavior. Initiatives like reef-friendly tourism and volunteer programs for reef monitoring and cleanup can make a substantial difference. International cooperation is also critical. Coral reefs are a global asset, and their conservation requires coordinated efforts across borders. Agreements like the International Coral Reef Initiative and the Coral Triangle Initiative aim to promote sustainable management and protect these valuable ecosystems. In conclusion, coral reefs are invaluable to both marine life and human societies. While they face significant threats, through concerted conservation efforts, we can ensure their survival and the many benefits they provide for future generations.